I'm Fuzzy, and you're listening to my podcast. So hi everybody, thanks for listening to my podcast. Today I'm welcoming a legend of our culture who started graffiti in 1965 in Philadelphia. You've guessed it, his name is the one and only Cornbread. So thank you, Cornbread, for accepting my invitation and welcome to my podcast.
I appreciate you having me on your podcast, and we can talk about some things.
Yeah, for sure. You have a lot of things to talk about. So could you briefly introduce yourself for those who might not know you?
My name is Darryl CORNBREAD McCray. I am the youngest person ever to establish an international art movement. I changed the historical course of my generation and generations that follow me. I gave birth to global phenomena. I am the grandfather of graffiti and the first element of hip-hop. Well, history speaks for itself. If you check history, you will find that there is no other hip-hop artist in the world that was before me. There's no other graffiti artist in the world that was before me. And Philadelphia had its own version of hip-hop before it reached New York. I started doing graffiti in 1965 in reform school. I was sentenced to Youth Development Center of an indefinite term at YDC. And there I befriended a lot of gang members who controlled the facility. I remember my sister used to send me a lot of poetry books. I remember my brother used to receive letters from his girlfriends and by way of poetic love letters. And I used to read their letters. And I was enthralled about the words they shared with each other. I like poetry, and then my sister sent me some poetry books. Then when gang members receive gang letters from their girlfriends, sometimes they'd be upset with what they read, and have this verbal outbursts. And I say, "What you got? What you got, man? This man, she's talking crazy." And I said, "Let me read it." And I would read it, and I would respond to his girl letter by way of poetry love. And I first would read it to him, and he was thought about what I read to him. He was cultivated. And he said, "Man, I want to use this." I said, "You got to give me two candy bars, 2 cans soda, 2 bags of chips." And all the gang members had me write letters for them for the girlfriends. And I befriend these guys. I earned their respect. And when I was on C Unit, we always on C Unit. And C Unit sometime would be the last ones to eat at the cafeteria, And a lot of times when C Unit got to the cafeteria, we go to the buffet and we get our bread. And sometimes the bread wasn't necessarily fresh by the time C Unit got there. After several times of that, with my divine disorder, I took matters in my own hands. And I went to the back of the kitchen. I wanted to speak to the head chef. So I asked the workers, "Who's in charge?" They said, "Mr. Swanson's in charge. And his office is right there." I went and knocked on his door, and he said, "Come in. I'm a busy person. What can I do for you?" I said, "Mr. Swanson, my grandma makes the best cornbread in the world. And I was asking you, would you possibly, for a trial basis, make some cornbread for us?" He looked at me like, the first thing he said to me was, "Who gave you permission to come into my kitchen?" I said, "Nobody." He said, "Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here, take a walk, man. You come with some cornbread bullshit. Get out of my kitchen. I'm a busy person." And I tried to get my point across. He stood up, Mr. Swan's a big black dude. He said, "Man, if you don't get in my kitchen, it's going to be something." So I left. I came back 2 days later. And I said, "Mr. Swanson, can we talk about some cornbread, man? I'm not trying to disrespect." He said, "Man, if you don't get the F out of my kitchen, I'll break my foot off here. I'm going to tell you again, don't come in my kitchen again." So I left. I came back the third time. And this time when I came in the kitchen, I said, "Hey, Mr. Swanson, your boy here." He said, my boy who?" "Your boy Cornbread." He said, "Come here, man. Come here." I said, Mrs. Swanson, let's just talk, man. Like, come on, I'm not asking for much. He just ripped me up. He said, I'm tired of your bullshit. They had me lifting off the floor and take me out to the cafeteria where everybody was sitting at. In a real loud voice, he says to my unit counselor, Mr. Love. Everybody turned around. That got everybody's attention. Mr. Love, keep this cornbread out my kitchen. And threw me to the floor. And everybody just started laughing at me, teasing me, calling me cornbread this and cornbread that. I was a joke. But it didn't affect me because cornbread is a cool nickname. And nobody got better nicknames than gang members. So when they started calling me cornbread, I didn't mind. I went back to the unit with cornbread on the back of my shirt. And every time I see a gang member's name, I would put my name next to his. Real big. It didn't matter because I'm like, but when I love letters with these guys, we got respect for each other. We talking back and forth, and we good with each other. And every time I see a gang member's name all over this facility, cornbread was right beside it. And I started running out of places. And I started writing in the school, the cafeteria. I was in the gym, the visiting nurses station, I did it in the school. I really just bombed this place up, cornbread everywhere. They thought there was an artist inside of me who was trying to make way of himself. And I did this by way of writing cornbread all over the place. So they came and told me that I made a mess and gave me an ultimatum. Either I clean it up or I go to the hole. And they said this in front of the gang members. And I got real loud back with them. I'm not cleaning nothing up. Put my hands over there and take me to the hole. I'm not cleaning nothing. Take me to the hole. And the gang members started laughing, started applauding me. Okay, Brad. I go to the hole. I really just grandstand in the showboat. But I go to the hole. I ain't done nothing. I ain't robbed nobody. I ain't disrespect nobody. I wasn't fighting. I said in 40, I'm out. And to make matters worse, I started marking cornbread all over the place, all over again. They couldn't control me. So they made the recommendation that I see the psychiatrist. I go see the psychiatrist, and he says, "Why are you writing cornbread all over the place, baby? Problem?" I said, "No, I don't have a problem, but you ain't seen shit yet." He said, "What's that supposed to mean?" I said, "Man, get out of here. You're going to read about me. I'm going to set the world on fire. And you're going to read about me, so me, God." But see, I knew that the accolades and the special attention, the respect I got for being like a poet and a writer all over this place, I got special attention from the social worker, from the school teachers, from the unit counselors. Because I was always in their face talking poetic stuff. How you like this? Blah, 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 blah. And they're saying something special, but I had something different in mind. Because I knew that the attention I received at YDC, I can get the same attention in the street. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I came home. When I came home in 1967, I started writing cornbread all over the city. I started walking bus routes this way and that way, this way and that way. The underground subway trolley, the underground trains, the elevated trains, the L stops. I was a new phenomenon. I was something brand new. People never heard of somebody saying name everywhere. That was the first element of hip-hop. I started writing cornbread all over the city of Philadelphia. My objective was to make Philadelphia pay me attention. Just did. YD, the social workers, the teachers, the staff. I mean, everybody paid me attention. They'll never forget me. And I wanted to be in Philadelphia. And my name was all over. They talked about cornbread like they talked about Jesus. Because I was a new phenomenon. I was something brand new. The Vietnam was over. The Black Power movement was up and running. The Nation Lebanon was winning. But in the street, it was cornbread. And I was something brand new. So I'm going to work one day. And I always get the newspapers when I ride the bus so I can read while I ride. The front page, I read on the front page of this newspaper, cornbread is shot to death. story on page 3. So I'm the only thing up and running. I'm the only thing popping. Is there another cornbread? I turned to page 3, and this is what I read. The fantastic career of Philadelphia best-known graffiti artist came to a violent end Sunday outside a hotel and bar. Cornbread, the graffiti Scrooge, the Cornbread, the graffiti artist, the graffiti Scrooge apparently knew no bounds for recognition. Went so far to spray paint his name 30 stories up on top of a skyscraper. They were talking about the thing. I'm here reading about my own death. I said, what? No. So I get off the bus and I call my job. I work in the biscuit where they make the Oreo cookies. I called them. This is Darryl McCray. I won't be in today. Then I called the newspapers. Look, you got to get your article right. Your article is off course. You're wrong. You're dead wrong. The article? What are you talking about? Who is this? What's going on? What are you talking about? I said, I'm Cornbread, and I'm not dead. Oh, we don't need no imposters. Cornbread is gone, man. That Cornbread, rest in peace, man. The Cornbread is gone. Don't do this. We don't need no imposters. That Cornbread, rest in peace. Hang up on me. I called them right back. I said, man, if you don't get your article right, I will tear this town up. You better get your article right. You need to find something else better to do. You let Cornbread rest in peace. Let Cornbread rest in peace. Hung up on me again. I said, oh my God, all this writing I done was going to the guy's grave. The guy who got killed, guess what his name was? His name was Cornelius. Cornelius got his brains blew out. He landed in the street, people walking by. Somebody shot Corn. Oh, Corn is dead. Oh, Corn got shot. And people automatically assumed that the Corn short for Cornelius was the Corn short for cornbread. And now on the front page newspapers. It became a prescription for disaster. I knew I had to do something bizarre because I called the newspapers and I tried to tell them, you made a mistake, correct your mistake, and they assumed that I was an imposter. When I came home, my grandmother raised me. When I came home, my grandmom died. 2 years later, my mother died. I didn't know anyone, and the only thing that made me happy was writing Cornbread. And I did that as therapy because I did not want to deal with the suffering and the pain that I experienced losing my mother and my grandmother. But that was all I had. And that was therapy for me. I wrote Cornbread day and night and day, everywhere. Could nobody contend with that. And when I read about my death in the newspapers, I wanted the newspapers when they straighten out the article. They made a mistake. They wouldn't correct their mistake. And I had pondered countless possibilities. What can I do? And I started writing The Real Cornbread Is Not There. But then it had no impact on the general public because I wasn't just in one newspaper, I was in 3 newspapers. And I pondered countless possibilities. What can I do? And I started writing The Real Cornbread Is Not There. It didn't have no general and public on the public because I was in 3 newspapers. Everybody knew I was dead. And nobody comes back from the dead. And I knew that I had to do something amazingly bizarre to snatch the media attention, to make them know that I'm still around. And I came to the conclusion to go to the Philadelphia Zoo and bomb out the whole entire zoo. Why? Because the Philadelphia Zoo is a tourist attraction. And that's the media. And when my boss do out, they're going to know I'm still amongst this. So I go to the zoo Saturday afternoon. It's a nice, bright, sunny, warm day. A lot of kids running around and the family. And it was so crowded. I knew better than try to write my name because I'm cruising for a bruise. I got locked up. And I knew that time was not the time to try to do nothing like that. So I'm just walking around. And I seen all these people muddling around this pit. And I walked over to see what got the attention. And I see this guy down in this pit holding the trunk of the elephant in his hands. And he goes and holds the elephant ears. And he want to start hugging the elephant like the elephant is his best friend. And people are taking pictures of all this. So one of the ladies says to him, "Sir, are you afraid the elephant's going to hurt you?" He said, "No, man, the elephant came straight from the circus. The elephant is harmless. And my mind just started shifting. My mind just started shifting. When I heard that, that was all I needed to hear. So I sat there and watched this elephant, and watched the guy shout. And I seen when the elephant life was not in jeopardy, I came back the next. I had a bag of peanuts, and this elephant, all my peanuts, I started talking to him. Hey, big guy, how long you been here? Hey, big guy. Are they treating you good here? And he's eating my peanuts, looking at me, and I'm feeding him. I come back the next day, boy, some more peanuts. Hey, big guy. He's like, are they treating you good here? You know, but it's the elephants from the circus. He's used to people. He must looking at each other. The next time I came back, it was 6:30 the next morning when nobody had touched him. Or at least I thought it wasn't. I guess about 6:30, 6:45. I go see the back of the zoo. Came over the fence. Comes down to an enclosure where he was at. I hopped off and jumped into the pit. I took the spray paint off. I hopped into the pit and just now shaking a can. He turns around. He looks at me, and he knows exactly who I am. He didn't act like I wasn't even there. I walked up to him. I wrote, "Cornbread lives." I ran around the other side. I wrote, "Cornbread lives." I jumps out of the pit. I comes out of the pit, and the whole zoo is about disposal. I just started bombing out the whole zoo. I was on concession stands, the men's bathroom, the women's bathroom, the water fountain, trees, the picnic tables. I was on other animal buildings. I was just bomb this whole zoo out. Somebody at the zoo and see what I was doing and called the cops. So, but now if I came out that pit and went straight to the exit, I'd have gone away with that. I came out that pit and I started bombing everything out. And by the time I got to the zoo, the cops was straight pulling up. I got ready to run. Don't run. Don't run. Put his hand. I said, don't you run. I said, oh, these guys looking at the cops. I said, oh my God. Put your hands up in the air. Put my hands up in the air. They came up and put the cuffs on me. Took me to custody. I'm in custody. I'm trying to get Mr. Arrested. Well, I was past the night, so I could be in there early at the zoo before it opened. I got locked up, and I'm in there sleeping or trying to get some rest every 10 minutes. Which one of y'all's cornbread? This is the cops. I see it right here. I said, what's up? Kid, give me an autograph. This is all day long, man. So the other juveniles on the one photo, yo, Cornbread, what about your shoe? You got cops asking for autograph. That was the first element of hip-hop. I was still in spray paint forever. I mean, nobody could hang with us if they bought spray paint. We were still in everywhere. But that was in the newspaper article. When I read about myself in the newspapers, I fell in love with articles about me. All I wanted the world to do was read about me in the newspapers, and I'd have done anything to get there. Georgie Woods, the radio DJ, announced on the radio that the Jackson 5 was coming to Philadelphia to do a show at the Uptown Theater. And anybody who was interested or wanted autographs and take pictures and meet and greet and shake hands can do so by coming to the International Airport when they get off the plane. That was like more or less like a publicity stunt, to promote the show they was having. And I goes down there, and it must have been about 67 other people down there, man. And I knew that if I can tag one of these planes, if I wasn't at the I'd have got one of them planes down there. I knew if I could tag one of these planes, and I wrote my name on the elephant, that would make me the elite graffiti artist of the world, which I can never be duplicated. So my plane came in, got idled about 10, 15 minutes. The steps let down. Uncle came to the top of the stairwell. He threw a kiss to everybody, and everybody went ballistic, screaming and hollering in total chaos. Jackson 5 was the hottest thing in America at the time. Michael, Tito, Jackie, Marlo, and Jermaine came down the steps. When they went through the crowd, the entourage with them, it was total ballistic, screaming, hollow, chaos. They were just trying to grab him. In the midst of the confusion, I rushed up the steps, hold on to the handrail, and write my name on the jet. Came down the steps. I went to the terminal. I didn't come out to see no Jackson 5. I came in to write my name on an aircraft. And that's exactly what I did. I went to that terminal. I didn't go anywhere until our plane got ready to take off. When our plane took off, I see my name take off with my name on it. I had a mental orgasm. They talked about me like they talked about Jesus, and everything I talked about YDC came to play. Everything. All I wanted to do was let them fill up and read about me. And all I want to do is read about myself in the newspapers. Now, what I need to do next is write my name on a cop car, some police vehicles. But better than to go to the police station because I might have got shot. I know better. I can't go to them. I got to bring them to me. I'm in high-rise housing projects. I got my man Kelly. I get my man Kelly $20. I said, Kelly, here's $20. He said, what's this for, Bree? I said, I got a blank gun here. Blank gun and a blank pellets. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to call the cops. When the cops come, I want you to start shooting at them. He said, no, man, I'm not shooting at no cops, man. No, I'm not doing that. I said, Kelly, you got blank pellets. You're not going to hurt nobody. I just gave you $20. We're going to go into the vacant apartment. When the cops come into the building to find out where the shots is coming from, you go downstairs to your apartment. And when they leave their vehicles unattended, I'm going to tag their fucking names on them all the heart. He said, go get him, Brad. Go get him. Give me the gun. Give me the gun. I go downstairs and I called the cops. I told the cops, you had a gang, man. The gang is beat this guy half to death, man. You have a homicide on your hands. You better come up here, man. They sent 2 cop cars up. That's not enough. So Kelly's when the cops start coming up, they come into the building. They start shooting at them. Pow, 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 pow. Like they comprehensive now. Like, the fuck is going on? He reloads and shooting at them. Pow, 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 pow. They start calling for backup. More cops came. That's what I'm talking about. And Kelly just starts, she got sugar happy. Pow, 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 pow. They start coming to the building. When they start coming to the building, Kelly going downstairs to where he did that. And then they found that all the vehicles unattended. I must have tagged about 8 or 9 cop cars and vehicles, man. It gets up to the department the shots is at. They see all these cartridges on the floor. They didn't put it together. What the fuck? What's going on with this? They go back downstairs, and all the cars and paddy wagons tagged up cornbread, police, all. But they would not publicize that because they did not want teenagers going around vandalizing police vehicles. All that tagging I did, that was not publicized. I was hurting for certain men because I wanted them to know what I did when I did to the police. I wanted everybody to read about it. They would not publicize what I did to the police. I got a police car that's in the graffiti museum with my name. They locked my ass up, man. I was the elusive object of desire. They were trying to get me, man. They were trying to get me. They couldn't. I was like Zorro. They couldn't touch me for nothing, man. They couldn't touch me. All I want to do is read about myself in the newspapers. And I was coming to movies one night, and I walked by this building that was under construction. It was a skyscraper that was under construction. They had a big fence around it, you know. I looked up, man, about 30, 40 stories up. And I never went nowhere if I was spray paint. So I came over this fence, and I caught the shaft elevator that takes the material to the upper floors. I think I must have been on the 30th floor, something like that. And I get up there, man, I just started bombing the shaft elevator, the concrete, the steps, massive slabs of concrete, cornbread came up the walls and the elevator, the steps, on the steel beams. I came down to the next floor, until all the paint was gone. When the architects came the next day, they were going, oh, this bastard. They just bombed this skyscraper under construction. Cornbread was everywhere. They put that in the newspapers. I was the internet. I was everything they looked forward to. People look forward to read about me. You know, I was in newspapers, magazine covers, headlines, editorials, comic strips. I got so much notoriety. I got so much publicity, man. I mean, they really talked about me. I mean, I was something brand new. You seen other artists like that read my articles. He said he getting all this media, all this paper writing his name. I can do that. And before you knew it, man, he had writers, man, that came out the cracks of the walls and Philadelphia became the graffiti capital of the world. I was like the piper, and everybody followed my lead. I gave birth to this culture, and I am the first element of hip-hop. Of course, graffiti is the first element of hip-hop. I came home. I was a solo artist. I was walked for 2 years. Philadelphia belonged to me. I was the only graffiti artist that wrote his name on walls. When I came home, the only graffiti you seen was gang members. We didn't use the word graffiti. Why do you think that is? Why do you think we didn't use the word graffiti? Right? We didn't use the word graffiti because there was none. We didn't use the word hip-hop because there was none. Only graffiti you seen was gang members who wrote their name on the walls for the sole purpose of establishing a reputation. All right? But those who are not gang members were part of the teenagers in Philadelphia underwent a unique experience unlike any other city in America. We're talking about close to thousands of teenagers that involved themselves in a social uprise. We adopted college fraternity names to identify ourselves. This is a citywide movement of the entire city sprout up street fraternity clubs with college fraternity names. We dance and we battle and we rap and that B-boy, that's nothing new. Rapping, that's nothing new. Graffiti, that's nothing new. DJ, that's nothing new. There was a DJ in Philadelphia by the name of what's his name? He's the Jocko Henderson. Jocko Henderson, the first rapper. I mean, and I think, but he didn't get recognized by modern day because he came from the 50s. I was recognized. I am the last of the old and the very beginning of the new. You know what I'm saying? And when we adopted these college fraternity names, we had an annual convention. Everybody convened in Atlantic City before the casinos was built. And we consumed all the hotels. And every hotel had a ballroom. And every ballroom, that was a battle. And we danced and we stepped and we dressed up. We dressed up. Man, New York didn't know anything about that because at that same time, in the mid-60s, New York underwent a unique experience unlike any other city in America. They had a heroin epidemic. They had a direct pipeline straight from Vietnam to New York, Harlem. We had the best heroin in the fucking world. And everybody was in the street was strung out. I don't know if you know about that. You watch American Gangster, the movies American Gangster, that would tell you what happened to America. It would tell you what happened to America at the precise time. And at the precise time, Philadelphia teenagers underwent a unique experience, a social uprise. That was the birth. That was the first wave of the hip-hop revolution. When that culture migrated to New York, those guys who put when that culture migrated to New York, it migrated in the hands of investors, bankers, and drug dealers. Our concept was raised 7, 8, 9, 10 levels higher. Nobody invested in us because it was ugly when it got started. When it got to New York, we had investors, bankers, drug dealers who invested their money into hip-hop. And it was the same thing what we did. That the foundation is already established. When it got to New York, to the letters, but the foundation is already New York. Philadelphia had its own version of hip-hop before it reached New York. New York didn't get started. New York wasn't on and popping until the 70s. Yeah, 65, 60. And New Yorkers, and what happened in Philadelphia, we were underwent a unique series of social uprise. New York was coming out of heroin epidemic. No hip-hop in the street in New York. It was hip-hop in the street in Philly first. Reactions for me to go to New York and let them know who I was. That was my reaction. I heard about how New York had took the culture to several levels, and what Philadelphia had. It was started in Philly. It was raw, and I got so much publicity. Other teenagers wanted the same notoriety that I had, and we turned Philadelphia inside out. When I migrated to New York, it migrated into the hands of people that had money. Money talks. Money makes a difference. We didn't have that. We were overlooked. So when I started hearing about New York doing this and doing that, I started going to New York. I started going to them shows. I started talking to them guys. I don't know who I was or what I did or who I am. I got caught up in the throes of drug addiction. A lot of us did. Boswell, he died from it. Keith Ferrens, he died from it. Stay High, he died from it. It was really this culture really that saved my life, because I was knee deep into drug addiction, and my barber sub, I used to cut my hair and say, "Bread, you had to come back, man. You out in the streets doing this dumb shit, man. And the whole world was talking about you, man. And you're not active. Nobody sees you. You're not saying nothing. You're not available, man. You're not present. But people are talking about you. And I thought those people that I know you, and they don't believe that I know you. So I told them that I'm going to bring you down to the show, and for them to put my name on the flyer." I said, "But they're going to give you some money, but if you show up, they're going to come pick you up in a limousine, give you some money, man, and treat you like the king that you are." But I'm drug crazy, man. I said, "Sub, come on, don't talk bullshit. I don't want to hear no bullshit." He said, "Brother, man, I want you to just be sober on the day I come pick you up. We're going to come pick you up, man. Just be sober, be clean, and take a shave, get your hair cut. If it need be, man. I can get you." I got clothes. So I get sharp from it. He comes pick me up. He comes pick me up in this 1964 Chevy, souped up Chevy. He hit a button, the car go, and get the rock, and the music is playing, and the car's rocking, and one of those hydraulic souped up cars, man. That's what he come pick me up. That's what they've been saying. So he pulls up. My son's outside on the porch. He said, "Tell your dad, come on, let's go." My cousin, my son. Now she said, "Dad's car outside, this crazy car told me to tell you to come on." I come to the porch. I said, "Son, park the car." He said, "Park the car. We're going to be late." I said, "Let them anticipate, sir. Park the car. Park the car." "Oh, Bread, you're going to be late." I said, "Sir, I know what I'm doing. Park the car, man. Come on and get something." "Now they got food. Come on, let me get something. He comes in the house. We gets down there, man, about half an hour, 45 minutes late. So we pulls up. We get about a half a block from the place. He hit the button, the car, it got the rock and the music at the blaring. I got a Cornbread t-shirt on, and we cruising real slow. Man, there must have been about maybe 100 people, man, from Europe that came here to come to Pose 2 show. The B barbecue. Now Pose 2 from New York. He's a globetrotter. He travels the world like a lot of like me and other guys. Co-Pose 2. A lot of guys who are deep into this culture. He get to travel the planet, and he gave the show, and he didn't believe himself knew me. He said, "Well, if you know Cornbread, I'm gonna put it in the fly. If you know Cornbread, then bring it with you." When I showed up, man, them cat had a Cornbread t-shirt on, man. Man, they just started mobbing me like I was presence of somebody. And I'm still drunk crazy. I said, this is something like, "Brett, I tried to tell you, man. I tried to tell you." He said, "Brett." Man, they started mobbing me, man. Like, asked me for autographs and trying to tug them and say, "Come on, man, let's go." I was ushering through the crowd. We go to the postal apartment. He got all these mics from different magazines, hip hop people want to interview me, man, and talk to me. I said, I wasn't ready for this, man. I was still doing drug addiction. I came around and went straight to the rehab. That was about 27 years ago. I never look back. But Boswell died. Keith Harrington died. And when Boswell died, do you know that he took my crown with him? Because that crown, I'm the person who came out the crown because I came home one night and I seen these guys standing on the corner busting on each other, talking about each other. I listened to them. I got my laugh on. And I walk across the street with a big blank wall, right? Cornbread. They come across the street. That's you, home? I said, that's me. He said, I said, that shit everywhere, man. Where you from, man? I said, it's my neighborhood right here, man. Where y'all from? I never seen you guys before. I was gone almost 2 years. A lot of the guys moved to the neighborhood. They came with this club called Delta 5 Soul. So Titty asked me, let me write my name, man. I got this paper and he wrote Titty. He wrote the Delta 5 Soul. I said, what's that mean? He said, we're a social club, man. It's a lot of street fraternity clubs, and they're all over the city, man. And I wasn't aware of that. So he said, why don't you join us, man? We got you and our crew, man. That'd be great. I said, what do y'all do? He said, socials, man. We have excursions, we do things in the neighborhood. We have the young brothers. This is a street fraternity epidemic that was all over the city. And they battled together, they had dress contests, they battled, they danced, they rap. I can rap, I can bust 2 raps for you right now. And everybody was rapping. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't nothing new. When I got to New York, it was commercialized. All right? So we had our version of hip hop before it got to New York. And it was like, Philadelphia had this version. I lost my train of thought. I'll be trying to take so much at one time, man. I think David and Daniel came here, man, and we was talking about doing a font book. And the fonts, because of course they adopted my handwriting to a new font, and picking up on it, man, it was like, and they mastered that. Whether they do, I had no knowledge about that. So while we was talking about, doing lettering and conversation about fonts, I got to talking about cornbread. And it was in my dining room. And my dining room was like a mini museum. I got custom frames of everywhere I've been, shows. I've been in Spain, I've been in Germany, I've been a television show in Madrid, and I've been a lot of places, man. I was introducing my handwriting as a font, and we was talking about that. And when we started talking about the book, I started showing them my scrapbook, all the information about me, and I told him to get me out. He went to the library, the newspaper clippings. He got so much stuff on me, man. He got stuff on me that I hadn't seen myself. I used to have a newspaper article writer named Tom Fox. And that's what I never shared with other writers is you're not going to be successful unless you're in bed with the media. I never was if I had told them that they would all be in the newspapers, but I kept that to myself. And I had big friend newspaper writers, and I would call them and tell them, Tom, this is Cornbread. I'm going to write on an incoming jet. Incoming plane. I said, I know what it is. I said, incoming aircraft. Cornbread, don't ever call me and tell me what you're going to do. Call me and tell me when you do it and it's done. So I can be the first writer to write about it and follow my lead. Yeah. So you got to be in bed with the media. I never told any writer about that. I never said that. And I stayed reading articles about myself because that was my ultimate objective, to read about myself. I got articles in here that he put in there I hadn't seen. And I was really impressed the way he put it together, man. He went to the archives, the newspapers, the information I gave him. The robot, like I'm telling you, the interviews I gave him, and history speaks for itself, man. I go through a lot of flack with New York because they lead the world to believe that they gave birth to the culture. Such is not the case. Such is not the case. When I say flack, I go through a flack with somebody that knows about the movies Cornbread, Earl and Me. The movies Cornbread, Earl and Me came out, and he's a graph artist and a graph writer, and we were exploited a lot. So when they used Cornbread and Earl, you could not have told me that wasn't my shit that they were using. I didn't just get exploited by the movie industry. I got exploited by a lot of people. A lot of commercialized businesses exploited my name, Cornbread, right? And when the movie came out, Cornbread, Earl and Me, I didn't think that was any different. I was being exploited. So I took credit for that. And for years, this happened when I was 15 years old. I'm 70 years old. But over the years, I come to realize, like, let's be real with each other. I never anyone about making the movies. And one guy got complaining, you didn't make anything, you had nothing to do with it. I think I cut my story short. Titty, ask anybody's name, people with Titty thought of our soul. So me and Titty used to go out and write a lot. He asked me to join Delta Phi Soul. When I joined Delta Phi Soul, I turned Delta Phi Soul into all graffiti artists. Delta Phi Soul is America's first graffiti club, street club. They were all street fraternity. The first wave of the hip-hop revolution was by way of the Philadelphia street fraternity. Street fraternity clubs. Street clubs. That's the first wave of the hip-hop revolution. When I said migrated to New York, it was a different story. But Titty used to write Titty around. I have 9 letters in my name. And his name was T-I-T-Y, up and down, T-I-T-Y, T-I-T-Y. And he would write his name like a little neck all around my name. Every time I write, Titty, 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 Titty. But I didn't think anything of it. But he kept writing it. I never questioned him why he doing it. Then one day he wrote Titty, King of the Walls. I said, home, you can't do that bullshit. You can't write that bullshit. What are you doing? Well, I've been doing this 2 years before I met you. I've been with you about 2 months. You ain't no king. I'm the king. I would write Corn, Titty, King of the Walls. In fact, I'm going to take that from you. I wrote Cornbread, King of the Walls. I told them all kings wear crowns. I put a crown on top of my name. That was the first crown. All crowns come from me. That's the first crown. Guess who adopted that crown and took it to his grave? Boswell took my crown. Donald Trump took my oath to campaign for president. And when Keith Harrington died, and when Banksy died, and Sehan died, I came out of drugs. I came out of it, left all that shit alone, man. Yeah.
That's really good. Thanks a lot, man. That's a lot of good stories.
Right. Okay.
Thank you very much, man. Have a nice afternoon.
All right, my brother.
Bye.
All right, you enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.